Julie, as you know, we have taken a number of steps already to deal with the risks and the threats of gun violence. Bill C-71 included a number of measures, including stronger background checks, license verification, better record keeping, rules around transportation, and so forth. All of those aimed at making our society safer. We've also invested significantly with provinces and territories in a guns and gangs strategy. $214 million will be flowing to provinces and territories to assist them with local community-based initiatives, including law enforcement measures, but also prevention measures as well. There's also over $50 million that is going to the CBSA to strengthen its capacities at the border to interdict smuggled weapons. And there's another $25 million incremental amount for the RCMP to deal with straw purchases and illicit tracking systems and so forth. I would also mention the ongoing $45 million a year for our various crime prevention strategies. In addition to that, the Prime Minister asked Minister Blair to conduct an extensive consultation, which he did, listening to all manner of opinion on these issues. And he has provided his report to the Prime Minister. The content of that report and other facts and information, including ongoing events, are shaping the policy proposals that we will be making to Canadians in the weeks immediately ahead. And Canadians will have an opportunity to listen to the competing views of all the political parties, but they'll see a very strong presentation from the government, and Canadians will be able to decide.
So C-71 is not about a ban, and Mr. Blair's been studying this for a long time. New Zealand brought in a ban within a month of the Christchurch shootings. What is the holdup here?
We are taking all relevant factors into account.
I'm sure they did too.
Well, I can't comment on other countries, but I do say that we are examining our own circumstances. We're observing, obviously, what other countries have done or not done, and we are taking our own Canadian decisions, and we're doing so, obviously, on the eve of a very important democratic decision that Canadians will have to take. We had a very interesting conversation about that set of issues, about extreme right-wing organizations, white supremacist organizations, neo-Nazi organizations, in the context of the Five Eyes meeting in London. Just as that meeting was beginning, the shooting in California took place at the Garlic Festival, and then followed by obviously other tragedies. And at least in some of those cases, it's pretty apparent from the evidence that's available so far that there were strains of right-wing extremism and violent extremism that laid the foundation and contributed to that behavior. We have indicated for some considerable time now that we are concerned about this. The head of the Security Intelligence Organization has indicated his concern as well, David Vigneault. We have taken a number of steps, both in the context of our response to the incident in Christchurch, but also as a part of a process that had begun even before the incident in Christchurch. We have taken the step of explicitly listing certain right-wing organizations under the criminal code. The organization known as Blood and Honor and the other one known as Combat 18 that have a particularly violent record in places around the world. They have a presence in Canada. They are now listed as terrorist organizations under the provisions of the Canadian Criminal Code, which enhances the tools available to law enforcement to deal with those organizations. And obviously, we will be examining others as that becomes appropriate on the basis of the right evidence. But when you think of the circumstances that have caused serious and tragic losses of life in Canada, the pattern is disturbing. If you go back far enough, the shootings at École Polytechnique and at Dawson College were acts of misogyny that have its roots in that kind of extreme right-wing mentality. The shooting at the mosque in Saint-Foy is another illustration. The shootings that killed police officers in various locations, Mayerthorpe and Moncton, for example, would indicate again that same kind of right-wing extremist mentality. The van attack along Yonge Street in Toronto, another illustration of that same kind of negative, extremely violent right-wing perspective. Citizens, but maybe don't have the financial capacity or the technical know-how to be able to do it. The large companies should assist the smaller companies in being part of the solution rather than being part of the problem. And one argument that I've constantly made is transparency about the algorithms, so that there is common public understanding about how those algorithms are being used to draw people in and to pursue a certain business model for the companies. But the public has a right to know how their information is being used, shared, and potentially abused. So the algorithms need to be as transparent as possible so that the public knows what's happening with the information, their own information, or the information that they're exposed to.
What would incentivize, I mean, a company to do that? They're making money. You know, can you put any
Well,
teeth
maybe
behind
this,
that with the Five Eyes?
maybe this incentivizes them. If human harm is done, if a child is terrorized for the rest of their life because of what happened to them on the internet, if there are other damages and costs, then maybe the platform that made that possible should bear the financial consequences.
Minister,
Thank you.
I didn't get a follow-up. I just wanted to, on a separate matter, do you have any update on the manhunt for the BC murder suspects?
I don't have anything as of today. The RCMP will be providing as much information as they can as this situation unfolds. Obviously, from what they have done, they have left no stone unturned in the pursuit of these two culprits. They have used resources within the RCMP. They've reassigned resources from other locations to where they are finding tips or leads to follow. They have called upon the external resources of the Canadian Armed Forces. They've been using technology. They've been using the K-9 unit and the amphibious unit. Clearly, the RCMP are treating this whole case with enormous seriousness, and they continue, as of today, to follow every new lead, to follow every new... I don't have anything as of today. The RCMP will be providing as much information as they can as this situation unfolds. Obviously, from what they have done, they have left no stone unturned in the pursuit of these two culprits. They have used resources within the RCMP. They've reassigned resources from other locations to where they are finding tips or leads to follow. They have called upon the external resources of the Canadian Armed Forces. They've been using technology. They've been using the K-9 unit and the amphibious unit. Clearly, the RCMP are treating this whole case with enormous seriousness, and they continue, as of today, to follow every new lead, to follow every new tip to take the appropriate steps to examine where the evidence may be. And as they are able to comment in any tangible way about a particular sighting or a lead or a major break in the case, they will do that. But the public can be assured that their efforts are continuing, together with other police forces in the country as well, that are totally engaged in making sure that the public is safe from these two people.
Minister, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you all very much.